What is up, Broncos fans? The Denver Broncos Show back here again to do another video. This is the first video I've done, and it seems like over a year. It's been a while since I've been making videos here and talking about the Broncos. Just kind of doing videos completely on the back burner. Just kind of had to focus on my life and get some things straight. But I thought that now would be a great time to start making videos again. Obviously, the Broncos have had a whirlwind of a past couple of months with getting to the Super Bowl, and I'm finally getting a playoff win with Peyton Manning, a couple playoff wins, obviously beating the Chargers and Patriots this postseason, and finally getting to the promised land, getting to Super Bowl 48. Thought we had finally reached our goal and finally gotten to the promised land, but ultimately, obviously, we ran into just a sleeping giant and a phenomenal young team and just phenomenal team in general in the Seattle Seahawks, who absolutely destroyed us, outplayed us, and embarrassed us on the biggest stage of them all in Super Bowl 48, beating us by 35. Just a really tough way to end the season. And the past two seasons have been very rough ways to end the season for Broncos fans. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that over the past couple days and since free agency has opened, the Broncos have been on a spending spree. John Elway, once again, for the third straight year, has hit a home run and hit the jackpot in free agency. Of course, 2 years ago, getting Peyton Manning, last year getting Wes Welker, and now this year with the three players he's brought in. It's just incredible what John Elway has done to revamp this roster and really bring back this organization to prominence. Got to give, once again, all the props in the world to John Elway and to Pat Bowlen for obviously shelling out this type of money, just showing how committed this organization is to winning a championship and being the best team in the AFC and quite frankly in the NFL. All right, the first signing I'm going to talk about in this video is going to be the addition of safety TJ Ward, formerly of the Cleveland Browns. You're looking at TJ Ward. He's 27 years old. We signed him to a 4-year, $23 million deal. He was a Pro Bowler and named to the All-Pro team last season for Cleveland. He had 112 tackles, 5 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions in 2013. And in his rookie season, he had 123 tackles, 10 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions as well. He's a lot better in coverage than people think. A lot of people have kind of questioned this signing. Some people, I should say, not a lot of people, but some people have questioned this signing because they think that TJ Ward isn't that good in coverage. But he is fairly solid in coverage. He's not a bad cover safety by any means. He's not a ball hawk like Jairus Byrd or Troy Polamalu or Ed Reed. He's not gonna record 5-10 interceptions, but he's gonna make plays in the passing game and in coverage, and he's definitely a physical presence that we need in the back end of our secondary. He's gonna be that enforcer over the middle that we need. If you look at the Seattle Seahawks defense, their perfect prototype of how to be successful with their secondary. You look at what Cam Chancellor does for that secondary in Seattle, being that enforcer over the middle. TJ Ward can kind of have that similar role here in Denver. He's that physical presence that we needed, and I really like him because we haven't had a safety like this since John Lynch, and even you can argue since Steve Atwater. We haven't had a big thumper like this, if you will, a safety in the back end that is just going to punish wide receivers and just be physical and give us, kind of a feistiness, if you will, in the back end of our secondary. So I think TJ Ward's a great sign. Next signing I'm going to talk about, this one was probably the addition that shocked me the most because I really didn't even think the Broncos were in the hunt for this player. The Broncos ended up out of nowhere getting defensive back Aqib Talib from the New England Patriots. Signed him to a 6-year, $57 million deal, and $26 million of that $57 million deal are guaranteed. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, wrote a great article, I believe today, about the process of how the Broncos came to get Talib and how we offered Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie this huge deal. I think it was a 6-year, $54 million deal that he turned down, which I was just shocked to hear about. And then we went right after Darrelle Revis, offered him the same deal. He didn't want to budge off his $12 million per season request, and then we called up Aqib Talib's agent and his people and struck a deal. And it's a great addition. It's a huge addition to our secondary, and finally we get that shutdown corner that we've desperately needed. only 28 years old. He's in the prime of his career. He's coming off a great season in New England where he had 41 tackles and 14 pass deflections to go along with 4 interceptions. He was a Pro Bowler last year and named to the All-Pro team in 2013. He has 23 career interceptions since entering the league in 2008. That is tied for 6th most. I mean, this guy has great ball skills, and he is just, like I said, a prototypical shutdown corner. If you look at some of the games he had last year against some of the receivers or tight ends that he faced, he just had a phenomenal year. He absolutely shut down Jimmy Graham when the Patriots faced New Orleans last year, held him to no catches, had a great game against Julio Jones last year. He is just a phenomenal coverage corner. He's great in bump and run coverage. He's good in man-to-man. And again, this is that shutdown corner that we need. He's a big physical corner. Again, I love the theme that the Broncos are kind of going with making our defense more physical and more feisty, if you will, in the back end. And he's, like I said, a very big corner at 6'1", 205 pounds. You got a guy, again, that's great in man-to-man coverage. He's going to be up in your face. He's going to be physical in press coverage. And he even gave Demaryius Thomas some fits last year when we played New England early on in that AFC title game, and even early on, I believe, when we played New England in Week 13 last season. So this is a huge addition. And another thing that a lot of people aren't talking about is he is now reunited with his former teammate from the University of Kansas and Chris Harris. So you love that. There's already a familiarity there between those two. Already kind of got a chemistry there between those two. That's great. He just filled 2 needs and just got much more physical and much more talented, just much better, period, in their secondary with adding not only TJ Ward, but Aqib Talib as well. Broncos lastly added DeMarcus Ware, formerly of the Cowboys, the defensive end linebacker from Dallas. Just a phenomenal addition. We signed him to a 3-year, $30 million deal. $20 million of that deal is guaranteed. Now, this was also kind of a surprise of a signing by the Broncos, but there was some rumblings when we were in negotiations with Talib, or I think even immediately after we signed Talib, that DeMarcus Ware was coming in for a visit, but there still was some talks that the Broncos maybe were going to go after Jared Allen, but ultimately we picked DeMarcus Ware, and I couldn't be happier as a Broncos fan. Again, we're just filling needs with such talented players, and that's what you want to see as a fan from your team. Obviously, we're shelling out the money, for him and Aqib Talib and even TJ Ward, but especially for DeMarcus Ware and Aqib Talib. But I mean, when you look at the accolades just alone that DeMarcus Ware has at this point in his career, he's 31 years old. A lot of people kind of question his age and if he's on the decline of his career, which he is on the back end of his career, but I still think he can be a very, very productive player in the NFL. And again, just looking at the accolades that he has accomplished so far in his NFL career, he's a 7-time Pro Bowler. He's been named to the NFL All-Pro team 7 times. He was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2008. He's part of the NFL's 100-sack club. He's the Cowboys franchise record holder for sacks. He has 132 sacks, so he's the all-time leader for the Cowboys in sacks and in forced fumbles. He has 32 of those. He's had 7 seasons with at least 11 sacks or more. He's had 3 seasons with at least 15.5 sacks. He has had at least 4 seasons with at least 5 forced fumbles. He's great at disrupting the passer and jarring that ball loose from the quarterback. And this is a guy that has, I believe, been the sack champion twice in the NFL. I think when he won the Defensive Player of the Year in 2008, he had 20 sacks. And I think he had another year where he had 19.5 sacks, like 2010 or 2011. So this is a guy that's still productive. He is coming off a career-low 6 sacks last season. He did battle some injuries in 2010. He had some problems with his elbow, some bone chips in there. But he is a huge addition to our defense and our front 7 primarily. And the fact that you add Aqib Talib and TJ Ward in your secondary, and then you go out and get a pass rusher like DeMarcus Ware, that is just perfect. You know, DeMarcus Ware has got to be salivating right now. Not only does he have the chance to play opposite Von Miller, but now he's getting a chance to play with possibly one of the best secondaries he's ever played with. He's got a shutdown corner and Aqib Talib behind him, a great physical safety in TJ Ward. You got Raheem Moore back there, Duke and Honcho, Chris Harris, Kayvon Webster. I mean, we have a very solid secondary now, and that's only just going to give him and Von Miller more time to get to the quarterback. But not only do I think DeMarcus Ware's presence is going to help Von Miller on the field and help, relieve him of some pressure and not allow teams to always just focus on him, But he's, I think, also going to help Von Miller off the field. I think him just being there, helping Von Miller not only with his, on the field moves or his on the field play, but helping him mature off the field and just kind of being a big brother of sorts. I definitely could see that type of relationship forming between the two, and I think that's something a lot of people aren't talking about. That is a big asset that DeMarcus Ware brings to this team and this defense. And this is a guy that, a lot of people have said last year he was hurt. He was old. He got, he's on the downside of his career. He only had 6 sacks. That's all true, but I do think DeMarcus Ware is still a very good player in this league and very productive. And the guy had a down year with 6 sacks. So for some guys in the NFL, that's their best year. So I think DeMarcus Ware is going to be a guy that is easily going to get 10 sacks a season for us. And putting DeMarcus Ware with Von Miller, that's the best pass rushing duo, best pass rushing tandem in the game right now. And, offenses are going to have fits. I mean, who do you double team? And then you got Terrence Knighton up the middle. I mean, that's a ferocious pass rush that the Broncos have built. And if we can get Sean Phillips back, Malik Jackson's improving, Derek Wolfe, we have a lot of pass rushers now. And the fact that we got a guy like DeMarcus Ware to kind of, take guys like Derek Wolfe and Malik Jackson and even Von Miller to an extent under his wing and kind of help teach them some things. I think that's huge for the growth of this team going forward and the development of those players. And I think that's a huge asset that the Broncos get in DeMarcus Ware. And I think he may make the biggest impact of these 3 signings that we made. And I'm extremely excited to have him, and I can't wait to see him and Von Miller just destroying right and left tackles next season and seeing how offenses try to stop them in 2014. So that's my take on the 3 signings, the 3 additions that the Broncos made. I'm really excited to have T.J. Ward. Eric Decker, this was a big chip that a lot of people were waiting to fall. Ended up signing a 5-year, $36 million deal with the New York Jets. $15 million of that was guaranteed. Decker, over the last 2 seasons, was pretty good here in Denver. Had at least 85 catches, 2,000 plus receiving yards, and 24 touchdowns. But I don't think it's that big of a loss. Eric Decker, I think, was definitely kind of a system player here in Denver. He's definitely talented, and he's going to give the Jets a much-needed receiving threat and a great receiving threat and target for Geno Smith next season, and I definitely think he'll be a productive player there in New York. But I think Peyton Manning did kind of help him and make him a little bit and make him appear more valuable than he probably really is. He's definitely a number 2 receiver. Some have even argued he's a number 3 receiver. I don't know if I'd agree with that. He's definitely, I think, a good second option. But, I think the Broncos can definitely replace him. We got Andre Caldwell back, and this is a good draft for wideouts. Maybe the Broncos look to trade up, get Marquise Lee, from USC, Mike Adams from Texas A&M, maybe get really bold and try to get Sammy Watkins from Clemson. I don't know, but receiver definitely is a position the Broncos could look to fill now and add some depth there with Decker gone. I wish Decker the best of luck in New York. He had a couple great years here. He's a very good, productive player. These the 3 players we added: DeMarcus Ware, Aqib Talib, and T.J. Ward. Which one are you most excited about to see in a Broncos uniform next season? And which one do you think will make the biggest impact for the Broncos defense in 2014? And also, what do you think of Eric Decker leaving to sign with the New York Jets? And who do you think the Broncos may target at the wide receiver position, whether it be in free agency, a trade, or in the draft? Just give me your thoughts in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys staying subscribed, and thank you for watching. And as always, go Broncos. Excited for 2014. John Elway once again striking gold in free agency.